Hello, 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 beautiful beings of light. If you can hear me, let me know. Give me a 5 by 5 on the chat. I am extremely excited and happy and joyful being here today. For those of you who are just tuning in for the first time, welcome. My name is Morayana. I am a ascension coach, a healer, an intuitive healer, a star child. That have many spiritual gifts to share and lots of wisdom to share through my life journey and my own ascension path. Aloha Dea, welcome. And yeah, today we're going to be talking about one of the most, I think, significant subjects that in relationship to relationships, we're going to be talking about emotional dependence and also talking about attachment theory. So we do have an activation coming up on June 2nd for the subject of releasing emotional dependence. And we're going to go into what it is actually about and how do we even get into situations of emotional dependence. And this is really important to understand about ourselves because awareness of our behaviors, of our feelings, of our emotions in connection is one of the most important things. Because when we can understand ourselves, when there's awareness of our feelings and our emotions and a little bit of background of why we may be feeling the way we're feeling, that's called awareness. And when awareness comes in, that's already 50% of the healing, just by understanding our complexities. And today we're going to go into these complexities and talk about them because they're so important. And everything is a relationship. We have a relationship with ourselves. You might be in a relationship with a beloved. You might be in a relationship with a friend, with many friends, with community, with your neighbor, with the person down the road, with the person at the cashier. Like, relationships are everything. And we're always relating with other people, unless you're a lone wolf and you're tuning in from some kind of woods area or your man cave. That's okay also. But when you decide to get out of the man cave, you still have to talk to people and relate to people. And so the more we understand our complexities and the more we understand our relational patterns and where we're operating from, the easier it is for us to let go of what no longer serves us and choose better for ourselves. And the reason I'm saying this is because I've been on this journey, and this information, attachment theory, came to me about 8 years ago, 10 years ago, when I was in it. I was in this emotional dependent relationship with another person, and it was bringing out my anxiety in the connection. And I'll talk about the attachment theory in just a moment. But I was in the washing machine. I couldn't see myself. I had no awareness around it. I was operating on autopilot and just letting my emotions get the best of me. And I couldn't understand why I was feeling the way I was feeling until I had awareness around it. Somebody gave me a book. You're welcome to tune in to Amazon or wherever you want and look for this book. It's called Attached. And I read it in like one day. My friend, the roommate where I was staying, she gave me this book, and it really, really opened my eyes. And after I read that book, and today we're going to talk about the key things in that book that was the most important information in there, it liberated me. It gave me so much freedom and so much understanding about why I was relating the way I was relating. And it suddenly shifted my whole life. It changed everything for me. Every time I was in a connection later, I could see my patterns, and I could see the other person patterns. I could see why I was attracted to what I was attracted. And suddenly my attraction to certain people or certain things shifted. It started changing. And it was because my understanding of my complexities. So before we get into it, if you haven't already, give the show a like, comment, share. Comments are really awesome. They really help me grow this show and share this show with others. So just if you're tuning in, share with me where you're tuning in from, and you can subscribe, and you can also press the bell icon to never miss another update from Deep Intuitive Healing. I'm very, very grateful for your presence here today. Today, we're going to learn again about emotional dependency and relationship. We're going to talk about the attachment styles. We are going to talk about the upcoming activation on June 2nd, releasing emotional dependence. And it's going to be working on all the issues that we're going to bring up today to bring balance to these emotional dependencies. emotional dependencies. And I'm also going to gift a free sigil to release attachments from our heart chakra that will aid this kind of attachment that we may be experiencing with another person. And even if you're not, it could be an aid. This sigil could aid to release an attachment that you might still have from a previous relationship in this lifetime or from a previous relationship in a past life. It will start to give yourself more of this emotional dependent feeling in your heart. So stay tuned. We're going to be sharing about that sigil. I will be sharing about that sigil later in the show. So let's get into it. What is an attachment style? So basically there are 3 attachment styles. They're also a little bit more complex. There are like more attachment styles that are based on these 3, but we're going to talk about the basic 3 attachment styles. Now it connects to the way you were raised as a child, and we are going to look at 3 types of babies that developed a behavior attachment through the upbringing with their parents. Okay. So the secure attachment is basically a baby that received everything that it needed. All the needs were met most of the time. The baby was cuddled. When it was crying, it was hungry. The mother would come and feed the baby. The father was there. The mother was there. It got a consistent effort of love and care to this baby. And so the baby's subconscious would say, oh, the world is safe. When I signal that I need something, someone shows up and therefore I am safe. So that's a secure attachment. That's a baby that grows up into adult into this world and knows how to feel comfortable with giving and receiving, is comfortable with closeness, speaks the needs very clearly, and has full trust in the partner because that's what they're used to from a very young age. Okay. Now, most of these people, the secure attachments, they come into this world and they get married pretty quickly. Because they find somebody, it's secure. They normally get together with another individual. They have babies and they stay together most of the time for a very long time. They have a long connection. Those are the secure attachments. Okay. The second baby is an anxious, preoccupied attachment, meaning, so some days the caregiver was warm and was there for them, and other days the caregiver was distracted or overwhelmed, and comfort was inconsistent. So the baby, when it would signal that it needed something, sometimes the caretaker was there and sometimes it wasn't. Now, it's not only in childhood, this can actually happen also later in life. We're talking about babies right now, but also later in life. Let's say you had a trauma and let's say one of your caretakers or 2 caretakers abruptly left and then they came back, or maybe your father left for a few years and then they came back, or the mother left and they came back. That can also create an attachment style that's anxious and preoccupied later in life, even though it didn't happen when you were a baby, because you still have that inconsistency and it can create trauma in the nervous system. And the nervous system, the subconscious, it starts to teach the subconscious that it needs that leans into codependency patterns. So it grows up with inconsistent love. And it sounds like something like, I must please others to feel safe in adulthood. So it fears abandonment. It overgives to feel loved. It like overly gives because they don't want to be left alone, struggles with boundaries, and feels love as anxiety or longing. So because the caretaker wasn't there, inconsistently, there's this longing in relationship that develops, an anxiety if the person is not there and they need that constant reassurance, because when that person isn't there, it creates anxiety, and that anxiety creates this longing. And then they start relating that longing and anxiety, and they interpret that as love, which it's not really love, but that's how they see love. They recognize love as anxiety or longing. The third baby is the avoidant dismissive attachment. Okay. So this caregiver is busy. The mother, father, they're busy, critical, or prefers the child to stay quiet. Emotional needs are often ignored or minimized, meaning the baby doesn't have almost any attention at all. This can also relate to parents that were drug addicts or alcoholics, or not emotionally stable in order to show up for their baby. So that baby was neglected and didn't have that love and support almost at all, and all the needs were not met. Now, what they did is they did a test. Let's say for an anxious baby, they did a test where the mother and the father would go in inconsistently and the baby would start crying and having a lot of anxiety. For the avoidant, once the baby figures out and understands that the caretakers are not there, they did the test where the mother and father would go in after a while and the baby didn't cry at all. There was no crying because it's just stopped believing or understanding. What it internalized is that I am not, like, love is not here at all and I need to take care of myself. So the baby stops crying. The thing is that they did a test and they checked the heartbeat of the baby, of the avoidant baby. And the heartbeat was identical to an anxious attachment baby, which was a very, very, very anxious heartbeat. So even though the avoidant wasn't showing signals of anxiousness, the heartbeat still was anxious, but it wasn't showing that that energy, that anxiety through crying or through emotional patterns in the child's psyche. And so these babies grow up into adults, and the subconscious says, depending on other hurts, if I love someone, love hurts, it's better that I rely on myself. They normally have really strong boundaries within. If they feel too much, they pull away. They value independence, like they're super independent. They downplay feelings. Like if you're overly emotional, they might even talk down about your emotional feelings, and they'll pull away when things get too close. Okay, so these are the patterns when you grow into adulthood. A lot of the relationships that are left in the relationship dating pool soup is a lot of the avoidant and anxious, because they're the ones that didn't, unite like the secure attachment. So there's many more of the avoidant and the anxious swimming around the dating pool a lot of the times. And if they're unaware of and they're not doing work on it, it can bring in really toxic connections. And so what we want to bring in here today is this awareness of where are we operating from? What am I operating from in relationship? How do I show up in relationship? And how much am I aware of my behaviors and my feelings in connection? Why is it, if I'm in a toxic relationship, why is it hard for me to leave? If I'm in a healthy relationship, but I'm not getting my needs met, I don't know. Why am I behaving the way I'm behaving? Maybe everything is good, but you still have anxiety and you don't understand why. So these are keys to understand our childhood and why we are behaving or feeling the way that we are feeling in connection. Okay. So, the avoidant dismissive attachment typically develops narcissistic traits. So this is something that I want to talk about, because the avoidant becomes the narcissist per se, not all of them, but let's just talk in general. The avoidant, because you know how a narcissist is born? The narcissist is born because nobody gave him attention, and then he saw this reflection in the water, and then the narcissist becomes so infatuated with his beauty and his self that he becomes like, I am everything, I am the beauty. He overloves himself in order to be loved, because he didn't get nurtured and love. And normally they don't have a lot of emotional intelligence. They don't have the empathy. And there's different layers to narcissistic behavior. Not all narcissistics are awful narcissistic. Some narcissistic can actually see themselves and come back to healing and recognize why they are the way they are. There's different levels to this. And not all avoidants are narcissistic, but it is a typical thing. Okay, so typically the narcissistic traits, he grows up with emotional unavailable caregivers, and I must rely on myself. That's the inner story, and struggles to connect emotionally and avoids vulnerability, may seem selfish or emotionally detached, and appears independent, but avoids true intimacy. Now, it's important to understand that the avoidant attachment and the anxious attachment, normally they are attracting each other. Because the avoidant actually can't be in connection, because they're avoidant. They won't connect with each other. They'll avoid each other and they won't work. And anxious with an anxious also doesn't really feed the anxious's love language, because they see avoidance as love. They see that inconsistency and that longing and that anxiousness as love. So it also probably won't last. It'll be too easy for the anxious. So a lot of the relationships that are out there that are in this pull-push dynamic, in a toxic connection and emotional dependency, are the ones that are an avoidant or an anxious attachment style. And there's nothing wrong with it, because you didn't do anything wrong as a baby. You grew up where you grew up. You had your family, you had your mom and dad. Whatever happened as a baby, there, you can't blame yourself for it. This is just, we have compassion and love for all of it. There's no right or wrong here. That's something that I really want to point out. Even if you are avoidant, even if you are anxious, it's all okay. It's just knowing to understand the complexities in order to bring love and healing to this situation that you might be in with yourself or with other people. Okay. Example of emotional dependency in relationships. So you might find yourself, like, this is just for you to identify in yourself. And normally the emotional dependency is more for the anxious attachment, though the avoidant also is dependent. The avoidant doesn't mean he doesn't want love. The avoidant attachments also want love, but they do it in a different way that they can feel safe to show up in connection, because they think that love is like a red flag, danger, I'll be left alone. No, I'm going to be abandoned. So I can't love, So most of the emotional dependency, that codependency normally comes from the anxious, because the anxious, like, it's the one that needs that validation. So if you find yourself overgiving, rescuing, or try to fix your partner, or trying to fix them in order for you to feel good so you won't have that anxiety, obsessive thoughts about the other person's feelings or actions, fear of abandonment or rejection controls your actions, losing yourself in love, like completely identity collapsing, where you lose yourself in the connection and you kind of forget your own needs and your own values and your own thing. You get lost in the other person and this other identity that you're with this other person, where you have emotional highs and lows tied to the other person's attention. So the attention becomes your, like, anxious. So his attention will calm down your anxiousness. So if, like, he's not reaching out or she's not reaching out, you're going to get hyped up or not hyped up, or you're going to, their attention is going to define how you feel. Okay. And these are keys to look at when you're in connection. If you find yourself in these emotional patterns, mistaking intensity and obsession or longing for connection and soul union, right? Because love is infinite. Love is, it's an energy, right? And some people find the infatuation or the longing or the possession of another person, that intensity, as love. But in actuality, it's trauma being played out in connection of your childhood needs not being met, basically. Okay. So how to know if you are in a codependent dynamic is if you feel anxious, unsafe, unworthy without constant validation. You compromise your values or intuition to stay loved, meaning you might have all these values, but suddenly you don't even give that value any attention or any space in the connection, and you go through the other person's space, what they believe in, what they want to do, because you want to keep that connection in order to prove yourself that you're loved. And you often feel drained or rejected but keep holding on to the potential of the connection. So have you ever found yourself in a relationship where you met someone that's great, but it's not quite there? It's like the potential is there, but it's not the final product. It's not the final potential or the final, it becomes a project, right? You want the final project of the person that's already complete in their kinghood or in their womanhood or in their queenhood. But then you found yourself with this person that is not there, but the potential is there. You still see them operating on these avoidant tendencies or like these toxic behaviors, and you try to fix that. And you tried it because you see the potential. So you see a person, you're like, oh, I got a project here. I'm going to change that person. Red freaking flag. If I can give any friendly advice, you do not want to get into connection with a potential. You want to get into connection with stability, with reciprocity, with so much love and beauty between the two people, where you can connect on the same level and you can see the divine in each other without trying to fix or change. Now, if you both things rise up and you want to work on it together, talk about it. But there must be reciprocity. If one is avoiding, the other one is chasing. This dynamic of the push and pull is so unhealthy. And what we really want to aim to have in this life is connection based on people that have understanding about their complexities. healing is a journey. I am on a journey. I mean, I'm definitely on a journey here, and I still have things come up, but I know how to self-regulate. I understand my complexities. I know when things come up, and I never project on the other person. Like if you understand your feelings, you will never project it on the other person because you understand where the complexities come from. And then you'll have compassion towards yourself and understanding of why you feel the way you feel. And you will also understand that the person in front of you is his own human, his own background. They have their own past, their own complexities. And so you can't take something personally from a person that has their own life experience. And then when you have the compassion to the other person and understand, oh my God, this person had a childhood like this, like this, like this, and you're not trying to change them, but really, really trying to emotionally, holistically tune into them and understand them and love them the way they are, you won't get triggered anymore. And you will finally find a place of peace within. We're not here to change each other. We're here to grow together. We're here to love each other, and we're here to hear each other. Now, some people might not be on that level. Some people might be operating on that autopilot, and it might bring out the worst side of you. And the best thing that you can do is love that person and let it go and not engage, because you know that that is causing some friction and dis-ease in the body. It does. If you don't know if you're in a connection like that or not, ask your body, is my body calm? Is my body in peace when I'm with this person? Am I happy with this person? No, we're not happy 100% of the time, but you know what I mean, right? Like, are you happy most of the time with this person? Is it regulating your nervous system? Do you feel safe with them, or you don't? And if you don't, you have to find that inner strength to walk away from something that doesn't make you happy, because your happiness is your luxury. Your happiness is the most important and valuable thing. That it's your currency. It's your life currency. Your happiness is your health. Your happiness is your joy. Your happiness is the definition of how happy of a life and how healthy of a life you're going to live. All right. All right. So the healing journey. So both patterns of anxious and avoidant. And so, like, I'm going to repeat this, that anxious and avoidant are typically what attract each other, because the secure is already all good. And a secure can date an avoidant, and a secure can date anxious, by the way. And that happens quite often. And that can be a very healing experience for an avoidant and for an anxious attachment. That is totally possible. But normally the secures are kind of like, well, they're already married, they have children, they're already, doing their thing. And a lot of those children that grow up with these shadows of the anxious and avoidant are normally also if they do find awareness on this journey, they also find a very deep spiritual path. I do find a lot of the spiritual community having a lot of these patterns, but people also learning from these patterns, growing and evolving through these shadows into the light. And then there's these beautiful communities that understand this about each other, right? So both patterns can heal with awareness and conscious love. So right now we are building awareness. All the information that I share today is already gifting you the gift of awareness of where you might be at. Where are you leaning towards? Are you more normally attracted to avoidance, or are you normally attracted to attachment, to the anxious attachment? Have you been both? Like, have you also been avoidant in connection and then also anxious in connection? If an anxious person meets somebody that wants them, they might avoid them too, because it doesn't answer their needs, by the way. So you might be an anxious attachment that had already experienced also being avoidant. So you can have compassion to the avoidant and know what that feels like, okay? So the avoidant type must learn it's safe to feel, it's safe for me to be open, and it's okay to receive, right? These are like the mantras that you can say. The anxious type must learn I am whole. I don't need to chase love in order to keep it. And it's safe for me to be with myself. And the most important thing for anxious attachment style is to learn also how to self-regulate their nervous system, because the anxiousness really takes over the nervous system. And so tapping, doing therapy, even theta healing on belief systems, doing yoga, somatic therapy, all these things in order to help regulate the anxiousness that may come up in connection and not project it on the other person, not chase the other person, not needing something from the other person, but to know how to self-regulate is one of the biggest tools that you're going to need on this journey if you do find yourself in this type of relational attachment. Secure love is born from self-awareness, truth, and compassion, right? Isn't that what we all want? Self-awareness, become self-aware in a connection, bring your truth, and also have compassion to yourself and the other person that you are relating with. And be gentle with them, be gentle with yourself, because basically connection, we just want love. And coming from a positive state of love, you could build a really healthy relationship with a lot of patience. Love is patient, love is kind, and love is good. Practicing inner child healing and repairing and reparenting the self, meaning talking to the inner child, taking pauses with yourself when you feel that you're anxious. It's good to stop for a moment and ask the child, and like, if you're anxious, what is it that you need? Why are you anxious? Talking to that inner little bit of you that didn't get their needs met when you were younger, and just reparenting that inner child and asking it for its needs, and then giving those needs to that inner child from your own adult self. You can reclaim your energy through cord cutting and energetic clearing. So if you did have a toxic relationship from the past and it didn't last, or maybe you're in one right now and it doesn't feel right, and you know that maybe everything I just said like hit home, like, oh my God, she's so right, she's so on point. That's how I felt when I read the book, by the way. When I read Attached, I felt like, oh my God, somebody wrote a book about me and this guy. Like, I was just like, couldn't believe the information because it was so identical to the experience that I was going through. And so it's good to understand that once you are in awareness that this person isn't aligned with you, and it is bringing out the wounded connection, the trauma connection, it's like a trauma bond, then clear that connection, reclaim your energy back through cord cutting, let that energy go, let that relationship go, and begin a devotional relationship to self, which is meditation, it's yoga, it's journaling, it's creativity, it's pouring into art, pouring into creativity, to prayer, into intentional healing, going to therapy, starting to understand your complexities. And instead of trying to seek love with outside of you, you start going on this inner journey to wholeness within, right? Affirmations, I'm a firm believer. I know you guys know that I believe that the word is one of the most powerful things, that when we say things, it's almost as if we have a tattoo on our forehead or on our body. Everything that we say out loud into existence, we manifest. So you can also use self-concept affirmations of I am love, I am safe, I am whole, I am complete, I am this shit. No, I'm kidding. I am love, I am desired, I am beautiful, I am like all those things that you feel like you need to hear from someone else. Say it to yourself. Write a whole list. You got ChatGPT today. Say, ChatGPT, write down affirmations to love myself, exaggerate, talk me up. I want to feel this and this and this. And you can just put that in ChatGPT or write it down yourself or whatever. ChatGPT will do it in seconds. You get all these affirmations in just seconds, and you can say it every day, print it out, say it every morning, every night. See what happens. Experiment with that. Okay. Boundaries. So especially for the anxious attachment, we're not really good with boundaries. It's really good to learn boundaries, how to express your boundaries in a loving way, and how to express boundaries without projecting your pain on another person. You know, being in a complete self power. So when you're in your power, boundaries become easy. Right? You want the boundaries are going to define how somebody's going to treat you, because if you don't tell them what your boundaries are, they're just going to do whatever they want. So you need to express your boundaries. The way you define your boundaries is where you feel safe in connection and where you don't feel safe in connection. And if you don't feel safe in connection, just let it go. Like, you want to feel safe with someone. That's the most important thing. And somebody also told me the other day, this wonderful woman that talked about needs. I told her, like, what about my needs? Like, my needs. And she's like, well, if you didn't have your needs met, you would be dead right now. And I'm like, wait, what? She said, if your needs weren't met, you would be dead. What are your needs? Food, water, shelter. So those are needs. In connection, you have desires. And I'm like, thank you for that reflection. That was wonderful advice. So when we come into connection with another person, we have desires. I want to experience. What is the experience you want to experience? And then there's an experience you might want not want to experience. And the experience that you don't want to experience are your boundaries. I desire to feel this and this and this. Amazing. Know what type of connection you want to experience. I don't want to experience this, meaning that's your boundary. And you express the boundary in a loving way. I feel that this, you don't have to tell somebody it doesn't make me feel safe. You just say, what I want to experience. You can also bring the positivity. I want to experience this kind of connection. This is where I want to focus my energy. This is how I idealize my most dream-like connection that I want to experience. I want to experience, let's just say monogamy or polyamory, or I want to experience, I don't know, making love in different places, whatever it is that you have, whatever connection, whatever thing, whatever you want to experience in your connection, you can say and write that down. And what you don't want to experience, ask yourself why you don't want to experience that. Where is it coming from? Where is is it coming from a place of love, or is it coming from a place of a wound? If it's coming from a place of a wound that's not healed, the boundary should be non-negotiable. Like your boundary should be really strong, and not go over your own boundaries with someone to make you feel better, right? Because you need to know what is your own boundary and how strong it is in order for you to really feel like safe in connection. So relearn boundaries and learn how to express them in a way that's loving, wholesome, and good to the other person without projecting your pain, without projecting your wounds, without projecting your trauma on someone else, and doing that in a really loving way. And being present in the moment now, there's really so much gold. The word is gold. There is so much gold when we start operating from the now, because we don't know what life is doing. Do you know what's going to happen tomorrow? Like, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know, like, could be another COVID epidemic, which I saw that's already happening. Like, we don't know what's happening tomorrow. A volcano can erupt where I'm living right now, could erupt tomorrow, God forbid. But I don't know what tomorrow is bringing. And really, the only thing that's true is the now. And it's a bunch of now moments combined together. And when we start releasing, controlling the outcome, that's when life organically happens. And so we don't know what life is doing in connection. We don't understand. The only thing that we can do is live moment to moment and express what feels good to us, what doesn't feel good to us in a loving way, and build trust with another person, loving them exactly how they are, learning who they are without trying to change them, and just observing the other person and saying, wow, this person is amazing and this feels really good in connection. And I want to continue learning this person. I want to continue having an experience with this person, loving this person. Or, wow, this person really doesn't bring the best out of me. I'm always anxious. I don't feel safe. I don't get sleep at night. Like, I don't know what they're doing. They're not giving me this like clarity. And I'm feeling like and I don't know what's going on and I don't feel good about it. Then that's a cue that that's not that person. That's not the right person for you. And also, if you have a hard time leaving, ask yourself why. And if you still aren't leaving and you're still in a toxic relationship, go to self-concept affirmations. Start meditating. Start doing yoga. Start finding maybe a therapist or someone that you can talk to about it and heal that with, because you really want to aim to have the happiest and most beautiful and joyful life. And so these are the things that we want to bring attention to in order to actually get into that blissful, ecstatic state of life. All right. So the free sigil that I'm handing out today, I'm handing out a free sigil for the community, for the people, for here. What is a sigil? If you have no idea what a sigil is a channeled psychic ability that I have that brings information from the higher octave of love, from the divine into the paper. And it's like Reiki symbols, and it's live energy on a paper. They have healing abilities and it's live energy. And this might be a foreign concept to you, but this is very, very real, at least in my world and what I've been exposed to. And there are sigil instructions. You can link on this episode. There's a link below where you can claim your free sigil and you can print it out. And there's instructions on how to use it. This one you're going to place under the bed for 6 days and 6 nights. The purpose is to release energetic attachments from your heart chakra that are unconsciously tied to other emotional that ties to others for emotional stability, meaning it will assist you in being more emotionally stable in your heart. And when you're done on the 7th morning, you take it out of the bed, you say a gratitude prayer, you pray to it, and then you let it go. You can throw it away to the garbage. It's totally fine, but you let it go. And if some of you are going to participate in the activation, there's another sigil in the activation. You can use both of them. Just date the instructions. Sorry, date when you put it underneath the bed and when you need to take it out, and make sure that you put it and release it when you need to take it out. And also same for the sigil for the activation coming up. Okay. So let's talk about it. Releasing emotional dependence. If you are in the dynamic where you feel and resonate with the things that I've been talking about right now, you might want to join, because I'm going to do a live activation transmission using channeled theta healing, channeled light language to reprogram our subconscious mind to liberate ourselves from these emotional dependent connections. And really what it is just to bring inner peace within ourselves, so we don't have to feel this anxiousness. We don't have to have these avoidant tendencies to other people, that we can be in harmonious connection. And the most important thing is to have a harmonious and powerful, strong connection with ourselves, because that's what we need. We want to be in our power. We want to be in our strength. We want to have healthy connections with others. And this is an amazing, amazing activation that will liberate your consciousness, rewrite the story, rewrite your belief system in order to bring this holistic, nurturing connection with other people and with yourself. So you're extremely invited with a lot of love. I don't know who says extremely invited. You are invited with a lot of love. And yeah, I bless me with your presence. I would love to have you on this journey back into wholeness in the heart. So if you are curious to work with me, I have a healing modality that I created called the 42 Chakra Point Energy Scan. The link is also below. You can book an energy scan. I read out of 42 chakra points in the body, and I can see if you have any entities, any entity attachments, any energy blocks. And after you complete that, the scan, then I'll put you on a program where it clears the energy blocks through light language meditations. The results are really powerful, really profound. And yeah, it's a really powerful way to clear your body. Also, you can book a theta healing session, meaning you can do a one-on-one session with me to clear limiting beliefs and patterns and bring if you have any anxiousness, if you have anything that is hindering your peace, then we can bring about change and healing into those patterns in your subconscious mind. And triune bundles are out, meaning the triune bundle is made out of 3 parts in a session where I channel a divine avatar name for you from the divine. We channel a sigil tailored to your specific energy body, and a guided divine, and you get guided divine messages for your ascension path. You can find that in deepintuitivehealing.com. You have a 10% coupon code, I am divine 10. And if you want to check out my art, Light Scribe art, I also do custom channel tattoo designs, Light Scribe wall art, where you can put wall on your art, which is amazing, and Light Scribe apparel. You can even wear the art on the clothes, and you can find that on lightscribeshop.com, and coupon code 10% off, I am divine 10. All right. So, all right, we're ending the show. But before we end it, we have time. I think I want to do some light language. How does that feel for everybody? But before we get into some light language, please give a like, comment, and share. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you have experienced an anxious attachment or an avoidant attachment, or maybe you're in a secure attachment, let me know in the comments below. I love hearing stories about other people's connections. And yeah, we're in this together. You know, it's all a journey. There is no right and wrong. Even if I had anxious attachment style in the past, today I have more of a secure attachment style, and I know how to self-regulate, and I've been on the journey and I've learned the journey. And also, if someone comes in with avoidant patterns to my life, I can identify them so quickly, and I don't continue that connection. Okay, that's something that I've learned to do. Identify red flags, identify, oh, this guy is avoidant. I have nothing to do with an avoidant. I'm all love. I just want to share love and be received with love and have that good, juicy, connection of sharing, giving, and receiving in a beautiful, authentic way. When something doesn't come into my life in that open-hearted way, I am not interested to engage. And so this is practice. The practice makes perfect. And for avoidants that want connection, all avoidant men, everybody wants to be loved. It's just we want to feel safe in relating. And if you do have avoidant tendencies, there are ways to come back into safety, into the heart of with relating with other people. And it's a journey, and it's practice, and it's available. And it's definitely available, and it's definitely possible. All right. So I hope you enjoyed it. If anybody has anything to say in the comments here, let me know how this feels for you and how the information landed for you today. I am very excited to do this activation coming up on June 2nd. It's very needed at this time. And yeah, let's do some light language. And I'm thinking what intention I want to bring into this now moment. Okay, so let's just bring in love and light. And also, if any of you are experiencing any anxiousness, it doesn't have to be in relationship, but just in life, just from the news or things that are happening now in the collective, let's clear that anxiousness now. Let's do an activation to open the heart and clear anxious energy and bring in divine love into the heart. How does that feel? All right. Okay, so let's just tune in with a deep breath through the nose. Deep belly breath, bringing the breath all the way up to the crown, opening your chest and your shoulders, bringing the breath all the way up and holding that breath, setting intention to really release and let go. And just breathe out of your mouth and slowly let your body relax. Maybe move your shoulders from side to side in circular motions. And let's do another 2 of those. Deep breath in through the nose. Inhaling goodness, inhaling love, inhaling oxygen, holding that oxygen within your body, setting intention in your heart for what you're calling in and what you're letting go of. And when you're ready, you can exhale what you're letting go of and just let it out of the body. We don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need that. We're letting go. We're letting go. We're letting go. And another deep breath through the nose. Inhale, inhale, inhale. Hold your breath in your crown. Hold it as much as you can. Breathe, breathe, hold, hold. Feel it in your heart. Feel your heart expanding. And release with a sigh and move your head from side to side. Maybe in circular motions, just letting your body fully relax into this now moment. Fully, fully relax. And you can continue breathing. I am going to start the transmission now. Creator of all that is, it is commanded to bring energy from the divine, to release any anxiety, any stagnancy in the heart chakra, and release it back to source energy, and replace this space with unconditional love, with peace, with compassion to self, with love, with unconditional love to our body, to our blood, to our cells and organs, and show us that we know what it feels like to be relaxed, to be in peace, to be in calm, and to be in love. All in the highest and best way. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. Idara siatra ondara katara esaya, shat urakatrayana undrakitra saya utra kat arakitara sudara katra ai, okuru kutrasha sak arakitra hoduru satara katra hok urushatra itarasai, hashara kitra undara katra Suatara kitarasai yanaheya. Idara kitara sudara kitara shaikara undra e sai undrukatra e hash Uatara sayana ek arashikra e adara kitara e sudara kitara e andara katra e ink ar ash Omma sadara kutara heya vidara kutara heya nauma sadra kidara he idarayana huma udara he sadra kutraya he Darayana huma Udarayana huma satra Udarayana huma Adara kitara esaya kutra e Suatra kitara esaya ut ar ashiatra e Hak ara kitara esaya undra e Hak hara e su ut a he atara si Odara kitra esaya ut ara yatra e Shak ara sitra e. You can snap your fingers with me. Hik ara kitraya e. Snapping your fingers clears energy around you. Hitara shik ara saya et ara kitara e. Ut ara, you can do it in circular motions above your head. Hik ara sitra e. Uturu shatra sayana etara umama. Hadara kitra he. Sudara kitra he. Hak ara shiatra esaya Ondara kitara sutara sutara kutara e Uttara e satara e ashara e undara setara Odara kitara he saya kiatra e Hishara kitra e suatra e Shayatra e kat arakiatra e Shik arasiatra e ut urukutra esai esai Hok ha ra sai na uma e sayana e shiatra e hak ara kitara e sudra e anahiatra e Omma sadaraya umma hey hey ya hey 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 na hey Odara kitara hesaya Hoshara kitra e Sat arakitra e Huk urushiatra e Sat arakitra e yana uma Sudarakitra e shak arakiatra a Ot urukutra es arashiatra e O mama kitara sayana humama umama Idara humaya he sadara he Idarayana huma sadra Olana siatra ash utrukutra e Ola kitra es ay uturuka sak it arashiatra e. Hola kitra esaya hok ala kitra ok ish arasik arashay Undarakitra is a ot arakitra e. Andarakitra esaya numaha sainaha. Ererere sai ererere sai anahe. Uawaya e anahumha. Uawaya he ya ya ya. Uayana he ya he. Uayana ma he ya ma he. Ma he ya he. Ya mama ya he ya. Ya ya. Oh, yeah, yeah, ooh, hey, yeah, ooh, yum, hey, yum, hey, yum, hey. You can put your hands on your heart and take a deep breath from the nose and release a breath out of your mouth. And give yourself a giant, juicy, yummy hug. Hug yourself, love yourself. Know that you are loved, you are loved, you are loved, and say, I love myself. I love myself. I am the queen, I am the king. I'm the boss of my reality. I am the master lover of my reality, and I master love myself now. I'm a master lover of myself now, and now, and now. And so it is. Just take another deep breath in that hug. And out of your mouth. And another deep breath. Lift your hands to the sky. When we lift the hands to the sky, it raises our vibration. So raise your vibration into the sky. Take another deep breath. And release. And another one. Raise your hands to the sky. Raising your vibration. Raising that love in your frequency. Breathe it in and let it out. Anything that doesn't serve you, and you are so loved. You are so loved. I love you. I love you. I think you're amazing. You are a boss of your reality. You are the master lover of your reality. If you want to join the activation, please do. June 2nd, you can find on the homepage of Deep Intuitive Healing on the website, deepintuitivehealing.com. You'll find the activation on the front page. Please sign up if you want to elevate your consciousness, if you want to let go of these codependent energies, if you want to let go of anxiety and connection, if you want to just be in love, in that state of love frequency, and release anything that doesn't serve you, join me on June 2nd at 6 p.m. EST. I love you so much. Thank you for being here today. And we meet again. I believe I'm going to do a show in a week to sync in with the full moon that's coming up, right? We just did a new moon. To sync up with the full moon. We have 3 activations this month, actually, because we missed last month. We're going to do activation coming up June 2nd, and then we're going to do also full moon and new moon to catch up with the program that things are coming. So yes, I love you. You are loved. You are seen. You are adored. Thank you for being here today, and see you on June 2nd at 6 p.m. EST for our wonderful activation. I love you. Mahalo nui.